Check. Okay, good. Okay, guys, just doing a quick live update from the field here. I'm going to check to make sure this is all working on my end real fast. And then I'll start talking some more. All right, looks like it's working on Facebook. Looks like it's possibly working over on YouTube. All right, cool. So here is our system coming off the coast, satellite imagery. Looking at the radar here, we can see all of this red is starting off as freezing rain out there on the Washington coast. There's also been freezing rain reported down in areas like Salem, Oregon, and it's a pretty gnarly conditions. Basically got freezing conditions at the surface, warming aloft, and then colder above. So snowflakes falling into that warm region, and then they melt, turn into super cold raindrops, and then those super cold raindrops fall back into the freezing layer and instantly freeze on the ground. So you can see it's coming into southwest Washington now. I'm currently down here in southwest Washington. I'm going to follow this to the north throughout the evening. I'm going to try to beat the worst of it as I go. But also wanted to show you guys it's starting off as snow a little bit further north. If you're seeing any snow up in places like Port Angeles or Tacoma, or even up in like places like Bellingham right now, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you're seeing out there. Just filling in. Take a look at this sounding from Salem. So here, this demonstrates this really well. This 0 right here in this dashed line, that's the freezing level going through the atmosphere from the upper atmosphere down to the surface. So in Salem, it's currently 25 degrees, and then you see this punch of even colder air aloft, and then it rapidly warms just above the surface, like a couple thousand feet, about a kilometer above the ground. Gets above freezing for a little bit, and then back below freezing. So they got freezing rain falling in Salem, and it's just kind of a precursor to what is going to happen. And there's also freezing rain reported on the Washington coast right now. There are winter storm warnings issued for the whole entire western side of Washington state. It's not a very common thing to see that, including down here in Vancouver, which is not shown. And looking at some of these warnings, this is an example of one of them. This winter storm warning is in effect for southwest interior, Everett vicinity, Tacoma, Admiralty Inlet, Hood Canal, Chehalis Valley, eastern Strait of Juan de Fuca. I'm going to make sure that you guys can see the text real quick when I'm reading this. I'm going to pull. This is not going to be quite as clean of a live stream since I'm out in the field. But look at this. Heavy mixed precipitation expected, low snow totals, total accumulations of up to 2 inches of snow, and then ice accumulations of up to 1/4 of an inch. But there are some areas that could have some more freezing rain. And if you want to read all the winter storm warnings, I posted a link earlier today on the page, and you can go ahead and check that out. And real quick, I'm going to share this live stream over on Twitter real quick so that can get out there as well. So stand by 1 sec. All right, here we go. That's shared now. Okay. So yeah, some areas could get more, but let's take a look at what the most recent European is showing. So the precipitation is coming in right around when it showed, maybe a little bit ahead of a schedule actually. But by 7 p.m. it shows it being up into Longview. But look at this, it's what, 5:30? And we already have quite a bit of precipitation moving in. So this is kind of ahead of schedule, and I'm going to get moving here pretty soon so I don't get stuck down here or something like that. I just wanted to see the onset of some of the stuff further in southwest Washington. My plan is to move up north towards areas like Olympia and Tacoma, and I'm probably going to cover the storm in the South Sound area where there is snow beginning down there at the moment. But let's take a look at what the European is showing for snow totals first. So shows Seattle maybe getting a dusting, and then Everett area maybe a half inch to an inch. Of course, this could overachieve or underachieve depending on how this goes. But then look at this. Up in Skagit County, you guys could probably get a little bit more snow out of this. And then up in Whatcom County, Bellingham, maybe 3 to 4 inches. And then right up there on the border, you guys could get a bunch again. So that's pretty nice. And out there in eastern Washington, some more snow, which is better than freezing rain. But then here's the nasty stuff. So freezing rain accumulations begin down here in Vancouver soon. And then Longview area out there on the southwest Washington coast. By between 10 a.m. and 1 a.m., some of it begins to accumulate in places like Olympia, but that could happen sooner. And again, there is already snow, according to the radar, falling down there by Tacoma. So let me know. I'm going to take a look at the MPing real quick and see if any snow or freezing rain is being reported around there real quick. Not a whole lot of MPings being reported at the moment. Okay, it looks like in Tacoma, freezing rain is being reported in Tacoma already. And rain is being reported in Enumclaw. That's not great. Or an early onset up there. So yeah, that kind of falls in line with what I was just about to say, that there could be some higher totals in some areas. Looking at the European, this is what it's showing for Tacoma. Almost a half inch of freezing rain is what the European's calling for. Down here in places like Vancouver, maybe a quarter inch, but there could definitely be more because there's tons of cold air pouring out. Out there in the southwest Washington foothills, quite a bit. Over there by Nia Bay, along that highway there, it's calling for nearly an inch. Seattle, 0.3 inches. But again, it's just what the models can't be perfect, right? So some areas are definitely going to get freezing rain. There's a bit of a rain shadow here, which is like a savior with this event. So places like Whidbey Island might be spared of some of the freezing rain. Places like Everett could get less. Lake Stevens could get a little bit less too because of the rain shadow. We should all be very thankful for the rain shadow this time around. And then down there in the gorge, of course, is just stupid. Over an inch of freezing rain probably. This is looking at the NAM 3KM, and it's showing Tacoma getting up towards, look at that, 0.66 inches of freezing rain. Out there in the Kitsap Peninsula, it shows a ton, over a half inch all over the place. Down there by Shelton, half inch along the 101. It just shows a ton out there by the Hood Canal, unfortunately. So this could be a nasty event for a lot of areas. Look at that, over there by North Bend. Possibly 3/4 of an inch plus, according to this model. And in places like Index could get quite a bit too, Skycomish. And also showing the rain shadow there. It gives a little bit more to Whidbey Island, a bit of a glaze. Any freezing rain that falls and accumulates on surfaces is going to cause giant problems, no matter if it's 1/10 of an inch or if it is more. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. I'm going to take a look at the live chat here. Well, it might be a different area of Tacoma, Bradley, because someone reported it. Michael, I see you watching on here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. I was going to the gorge, but I kind of changed my mind. I think I'm just going to hang out in the South Sound. My thing is I-5 in here is like 2-lane road, and there's still a ton of holiday traffic out here. So I was going to be down here in the gorge for what could be an onset of snow at the start of this event, possibly. But the NAM 3KM isn't showing very much snow at the start of this. And it's going to be just a freezing rain mess on I-5. So I'm going to get north before it gets too bad on I-5 is my plan. Okay, looking at more of the chat over on Facebook real quick. Hello guys, if you guys love snow, go ahead and heart this post. If you hate snow, go ahead and wow this post. Thanks for joining on. And yeah, by the way, look up MPing. MPING on Google and figure out how to send them. The National Weather Service is asking that you guys send in MPINGs. Basically, it's like you can let them know what kind of precip type is where you at. I'm currently all the way down in Vancouver. I was playing around in the gorge. I was down in Rooster Rock, seeing some of the Arctic outflow coming out of the gorge and the wind blowing the Columbia River on the rocks and freezing it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting night for sure. The whole area is entrenched in cold. Take a look what the temperature is in my house real quick. It's still 22 degrees, gusting out of the east at 19 miles per hour at my house in Lake Stevens. And so we got plenty of cold air in place. Look at all those temperatures in the 20s up and down the I-5 corridor, setting the stage. And then down here in Portland and Vancouver area, it's been gusting like crazy, gusting to 62 out of the east at Corbett, just dumping cold air into the Portland area, and then it spreads down south, down the I-5 corridor, and then also kind of spreads up north a little bit into the Vancouver region, cools off this whole area, setting the stage for freezing rain. And it's also freezing currently. I'm going to refresh this page. It's also currently freezing way out on the coast. Look at that. So freezing rain is being reported out there on the coast at the moment. So yeah, if you can not do any more travel here soon, as soon as any sort of glaze sets up on the roads, it's going to get slicker than snot. Guarantee it. It's going to be nasty. I, for one, I'm hoping that this forecast busts big time, but at the moment it is not looking like it's going to bust. So I'm going to start a new live stream here in a minute, and I'm going to go north. I'm currently here. I'm going to go through this batch, and I'm going to see what this precip type is, and I'm going to get going here. So sorry if I didn't get a chance to answer any of your questions, but I have a deadline to get north. So thanks for watching. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update that this storm is still coming. We're still expecting it. So yeah. All right, guys. Talk to you later.